Today, our journey begins in China's Kubuqi Desert, a place once known not just as a desert, but as a sea of death. Life here was slowly disappearing. Every year, nearly 500,000 acres of land were buried beneath sand. Fertile fields turned into wasteland, plants withered, and people were forced to abandon their homes. Endless dunes, scorching winds, and a silence that seemed to say life was losing its battle for survival. The most frightening part was that the desert never stopped growing. Year after year, more land vanished beneath the sand. Villages, farmland, and roads slowly disappeared. This process is called desertification, when places that once supported life gradually become desert. Kubuqi was one of the world's most dramatic examples. China tried hard to stop it. Millions were invested in tree planting, sand control stations, and large-scale environmental projects. Yet the desert kept advancing. It seemed impossible to defeat. Then one man came forward with an idea that many people laughed at. His name was Wang Wenbiao. Using his savings and borrowed money, he launched what many called a crazy project. He brought in more than 100 bulldozers and 300 workers. For months, they worked up to 18 hours a day, creating small square barriers from dry shrubs across the desert. Inside those squares, they planted willow trees. These were no ordinary trees. Their roots could grow hundreds of feet deep in search of water, allowing them to survive where most plants could not. But there was still a problem. Powerful desert winds carried away moisture and buried young plants in sand before they could mature. So Wang introduced another solution. The shrub barriers protected the seedlings from direct wind and helped retain moisture. What seemed like a simple idea became the beginning of a remarkable transformation. People continued to mock him. "He's planting trees in a desert," they said. But Wang never stopped. Year after year, he continued. Slowly, some trees survived. Their roots reached deeper into the soil, and the movement of sand began to slow. The impossible was starting to look possible. Then another challenge appeared. The trees needed regular pruning. New branches had to be cut so the trunks could grow stronger. Doing this across such a vast desert would cost enormous amounts of time and money. So who would do the work? That's when the story took an unexpected turn. The answer came from a small animal, rabbits. A special breed called the Rex rabbit was introduced. Often called white gold, these rabbits produce incredibly soft and valuable fur. A high-quality pelt can sell for around $30, while raising a rabbit costs only about $2. But the real value wasn't their fur. Rex rabbits love eating the young, tender shoots of willow trees. As they nibbled on the new growth, the trees responded by developing thicker, stronger trunks. In other words, the rabbits naturally performed the pruning that humans would otherwise have had to do manually. And that wasn't all. Their manure became a powerful natural fertilizer, helping restore life to the dry, lifeless soil. Even more surprisingly, the rabbits ate grass seeds but couldn't fully digest them. As a result, the seeds were spread back into the ground, and soon grass began growing in places that had once been nothing but sand. A natural cycle had formed. Plants, animals, and the environment began working together. Sand movement slowed, moisture remained in the soil, and strong winds could no longer carry away as much sand. Within a few years, parts of the once dead desert started turning green. The transformation didn't stop with the environment. It changed people's lives as well. Local residents were encouraged to raise rabbits. Small household farms began appearing throughout the region. Rabbit fur became a source of income, and the growing trees provided additional resources. People who had once fled the desert started returning home. After years of effort, large areas of the Kubuqi Desert were covered in vegetation. But Wang wasn't finished yet. In the middle of the desert, he helped develop a massive solar power plant shaped like a running horse. Built with 196,000 solar panels, the facility generates around 2.3 billion kilowatt-hours of electricity annually, enough to power roughly 400,000 people. And once again, there was a twist. The solar panels do more than generate electricity. They reduce wind speed by nearly 50% and create shade beneath them. Under that shade, grass grows. The grass supports rabbits, sheep, and other animals, creating a new ecosystem where technology and nature work together. Today, this model has inspired projects not only in China but also in parts of Spain, Africa, and the Middle East. And that brings us to the biggest lesson of this story. No matter how much people laugh at your ideas, stay committed to your goal. Don't abandon your dream because of someone else's opinion. Almost every person who achieved something extraordinary was laughed at in the beginning. Now, the choice is yours.